Chechens and Ingush are related peoples who speak Nakh languages. They are united by the common name Vainakh, introduced in the 20th century to unite the two ethnic groups. The Vainakh also include the Batsbi, who live in Georgia. They are a small indigenous people of the Caucasus, belonging to the Nakh language group, related to the Chechens and Ingush. The Batsbi call themselves Batsav, or Batsbonakh. Georgians call them Sovatush. They are the only Vainakh people who practice Orthodoxy. Some Batsbi have Tsuntan origins, descendants of settlers from the Tsuntinsky district of Dagestan, inhabited by peoples related to the Avars. The Georgian name Sovatush is connected to the Tsova Gorge, but there is an opinion that it derives from the name of the village Ca, a traditional mountain settlement. In Roman sources, the Batsbi were called Bubegeni, and Persian historians referred to them as Bibrani, demonstrating the antiquity of their mentions in history. Until the 1820s to 1830s, the Batsbi lived in 5 villages, 4 of which were located in the Tsovata Valley, in the territory of Sova Tusheti. By the beginning of the 20th century, the habitat of the Batsbi had significantly shrunk, and most had relocated to the village of Zemo Alvani, Kakheti. Zemo Alvani is located near the town of Akhmeta, in the upper reaches of the Alazani River on the southern slope of the Greater Caucasus mountain range. As of 2017, the population of the Batsbi was about 3,000 people, preserving their culture and traditions. What language do the Batsbi people speak? They speak the Batsbi language, but historically they also know the Georgian language. Their Georgian language is a Kartvelian dialect with a large stock of Nakh words. The Batsbi language itself is an English language with strong Georgian influence at all levels, from vocabulary to grammar. It is closest to English among all the Vainakh languages. Some linguists believe that the Batsbi speak the Tsova dialect of the English language. In 1926, Anatoly Genko conducted research and recordings of the Batsbi language. Genko noted that the Tsova dialect is on the verge of complete extinction. He also proved that Tusheti is the ancestral homeland of the Vainakh peoples, the oldest center of Chechen-Ingush existence. The Batsbi language has no written form. Batsbi people usually use the Georgian alphabet when writing or write in pure Georgian. Batsbi, Ingush, and Chechen languages are mutually intelligible. For example, the word Dala, God, forms Dala Oba, divinity, with a Georgian suffix, Oba. It is believed that the Batsbi are one of the 135 Teeps of the Nakh society, who resettled from the 11th century due to land scarcity and dense population in mountainous areas. The cause might have been a severe famine in the North Caucasus caused by the Mongol invasion, or persecution of Christians by sharply strengthened pagan priests of that time. Chronologically, this process is difficult to determine, but it is known that in Tusheti already in the 16th century, the Batsky ridges associated with the Batsbi settlement were known. In Russian chronicles, the Batsbi and Batsbi land were mentioned in 1589 and 1590. The Russian embassy of Prince Zvenigoradsky was recommended to go to Georgia through the Batsky ridges, belonging to King Alexander of Kakheti. According to one version, the Batsbi people may have come to Georgia in the 16th century when their native Al-Erzi in Ingushetia was devastated by the Kalmyks and Kabardians. There is a version that the Batsbi are Christian Chechen Kistins who became isolated from other Vainakhs in the 18th-19th centuries. It is also possible that the Batsbi are indigenous pre-Georgian inhabitants of Tusheti and never came to Georgia from elsewhere. There is an opinion that the Batsbi are Georgian mountaineers who switched to the Nakh language for some reason. The Batsbi differ from other Vainaks not only by their own Vainakh language, but also by religion. They are Orthodox Christians, unlike the Vainaks who practice Islam. And the Batsbi do not intend to change their faith, preserving their Orthodox Christian belief despite the surrounding environment. Interestingly, the Batsbi do not eat. All Georgian mountaineers, such as the Pshavs and Kevsurs, dislike pork. It is interesting why the Batsbi are Orthodox Christians, unlike them. According to one version, the ancestors of the Batsbi left the North Caucasus as pagans and adopted Orthodoxy in Georgia under the influence of the Church. Perhaps the Batsbi were Christians in their ancient homeland, but they were forced to renounce their faith and convert to Islam, so they left. Today, many Batsbi consider themselves closer to Georgians rather than Chechens or Ingush, largely thanks to the Orthodox faith. The Batsbi experienced strong Georgian cultural influence, but retained surnames with Kartvelian endings such as DZE, Nasht Shvili, or Yuri. In the daily life and culture of the Batsbi, there are many elements of Georgian culture with which they are closely connected and consolidated. However, elements of Nakh culture are noticeable in Batsbi culture. For example, tower architecture, similar to Ingush and Chechen. The Batsbi preserved some Nakh customs, such as the wedding custom of avoidance and the silence of the bride-in-law with her husband's relatives. Over the past centuries, the Batsbi remained distinct among the Vainakh, not participating in the Caucasian War on either side. In Georgia, unlike other peoples of the Caucasus, the Batsbi have preserved their unique identity and traditions to this day. The Kistin are not recognized as a separate ethnic group and are officially classified as Georgians. The Georgianization of the Batsbi began with resettlement and continued until pre-revolutionary times. After 1917, the process of Georgianization of the Batsbi intensified. The Menshevik Georgian leadership in 1918 to 1921 resettled the Batsbi of the Akhmetan district deeper into Kakheti. In the 1940s, the Batsbi and Kistins were deported to Kazakhstan and Central Asia, along with the Chechens and Ingush. Later, the Batsbi were compactly resettled in the village of Zemo Alvani. In the late 1950s, the mass Georgianization of Batsbi surnames began. In the 1959 census, 4,266 people lived in Zemo Alvani, the majority being Georgians. Until the 1970s to 1980s, the Batsbi maintained active contacts with the Chechen Kistins and Ingush, but after the settlement of Georgians, they began to communicate more with them. Connections with the Georgian population were maintained at a household level. Mixed marriages became more frequent. Since the 1950s, the Tush and Kevsurs began to resettle in Zemo Alvani. The Georgian authorities, considering the resettlement of the Georgian-speaking population, built a Georgian school in Zemo Alvani. This influenced the written language of the Batsbi.